Make sure my daughters stay away from y'all sons. I went to DC, got put on till we all won. Got put on till we all won. I went to DC, got put on till we all won.
Hey, what's up? It's Marc Clarke. When I interviewed Debbie, I was excited about her book. When I got her book, Harvesting Your Thoughts, Emotions, and Actions, I am so impressed and fired up. What I love about this book, it has inspirational quotes, it has affirmations, and it makes you look inside. It makes you look into yourself. Like, for instance, this is one of my favorite quotes. Now, you know I'm an only child, so I love this one. Sometimes you have to be alone to realize that you are the only thing that you need. Sometimes you have to be alone to realize that you are the only thing that you need. That right there is so inspirational. And then what I love about it is she gives you the motivation and then she asks you your thoughts. What say you? And then she gives you a space to write down your thoughts. So you could date it. You could put your thoughts, how you were feeling. You can come back and check it out. It's a workbook that you can really use and apply to your life. Look at it. They say big things come in small packages. This is packing a wallop. And it's also, again, just a workbook that really can change your life. And that's why I love it so much. Again, Harvesting Your Thoughts, Emotions, and Actions by my girl, Debbie Mendez-Taylor. Get it on Amazon. Get it on Amazon today. That's right. The only show where you hear packing a wallop. When's the last time you heard that phrase?
Yeah,
Look at Bootsy.
I'm thinking like, what is that?
Bootsy, I ain't seen you smile this much, boy. You look at you, boy. You was showing them teeth, boy.
Got a bag and fix my teeth. I got a bag and fix my teeth.
Ladies, Bootsy is available on Thursdays between 2 and 7. That's
Those are my
all
office hours
right now.
Those are my office hours. Slots are filling up quick.
Thursday up. Between 2 and 7, ladies. That's your only shot. So, Bootsy, I have to see. I can't be messing with you, Bootsy. You dragged me into something yesterday, and now I realize
it's always my fault. It's always my fault.
I'm always blaming you. And if Allison ever calls you, yes, I'm with you. And here's a Pat. Yes, he's with me. Yes, Lord. He was with me all day today. And yes, we are in Puerto Rico. Okay. No, I'm joking.
Please don't get me in there, bro.
I was preparing for the show, and our guest, who is so dope, man. Mumu Fresh is so dope.
Man.
You know, her music is so thoughtful. So I was listening to one of her songs we'll be playing, and I thought this came to mind, Bootsy. This just popped in my head. My wife has allowed me to live like a king. My wife has allowed me to live like a king.
Hey, was you checking to see if she was over there before you said this?
No, I jotted it. I wrote it down because I wanted to say, you know how you want to say the thought, how it comes to you, because you always mess it up. So yeah, my wife has allowed me to live like a king. What do I mean by that? You know my wife, Bootsy. At the end of the day, my wife has allowed me good times, bad times, ups, downs. Our household is always positive. She got my back. If I'm winning, if I'm losing. We've been through serious, I guess the toughest times you can go through. and we realized that we ain't going nowhere. And so what it made me think about, Bootsy, was, everybody's talking about, everybody's talking about Will and Jada and whatever. And I think what's going on is it kind of segued from, what's going on, Tiffany? It segued from the slap to a whole bunch of other stuff, right? And what I wanted to say was, for those who've been married a long time, a long time marriage, especially in Hollywood, that's a whole other conversation. And a lot of the comments that people have, a lot of it, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know people's lives. We project ourselves into their lives. I had to laugh, Bootsy, because I think I shared with you a couple weeks ago, a friend of mine from St. Louis was talking to somebody from the area, and she was dogging me out. She was saying, "Oh yeah, Marc Clarke. Oh yeah, Allison's been supporting him all these years, and he's a dog. And he does." So she was just rambling, talking about who I was, and had no idea who I was. And I thought about it. We're kind of doing the same thing with Will and Jada when we segue into their relationship. So I want to, first of all, just say, I want to step away from that conversation because as a fellow person who's been married a long time, it's not really fair. Number two, I got to think about, once again, Bootsy, my wife, my father-in-law, who was amazing. And he always used to say, CCG, no criticism, no condemnation, and no CCJ, no judgment. And I have to be like, I have to be in that space, and so I just wanted to say that because you get caught up, because that's the thing. That's one thing that Donald Trump did teach us. You could direct any conversation just by talking. Right. You can put something out there, and we will start talking about it, and we'll forget about what the issue really was. Right?
Can I please respond to that?
You can, sir.
Two things, Mr. Clarke. First of all, I love your stance. I have, obviously, I concur, or not concur, but I understand your thoughts. But I will say this. When you put your business out on the red table for the world to see and then the world to consume, then you're opening up yourself for judgment. When you put your entanglement for the world to see, to create your brand on your podcast, you kind of open up yourself, and you are now subjected to other opinions. You and Allison don't do that. But I'm just saying, like, when everything that Mrs. Smith does, Jada Pinkett Smith does, she has to let the world know. You kind of open yourself up to judgments and then conversations. Now, if we kept it private and everything we did was behind closed doors, that's something else. But when you, and this is my opinion, when you sleep with your son's friend and don't even hide it, put it out for the world to know, and then make your husband sit on your podcast to help build your brand. And mind you, let's not forget that Jada did that to Snoop and other people, where they'll just get you on there and judge you. Snoop, you shouldn't have been doing all this. You should know at some point it's going to come back to your direction. So I'm just saying, like with Jay, I get what you're saying, but to me, they have kind of opened up themselves as being America's, open, secret, open, when you start talking about it on open platforms. Last thing, I'm not married. So, hey, maybe I can still be able to talk about it. I get your point as a married man, and you don't want to judge. But, hey, Bootsy's single. So, hey, I'm going to.
Well, you know what? And again, I think DL said exactly what you said. He said it best. He said that you basically can't give somebody a club to use against you, and because people will use it. So basically, and so that's enough. This all started because I was getting Mumu Fresh's information together, listening to her music, and it just made me go someplace, and that place of just thoughtfulness. Because this artist is one that, in sports, their athletes that come around, every generation, every 100 years.
This
right?
is a great assessment. I love where you're going with this.
You got art, in sports, the athlete that had it all. You look at a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, 6'8" guard. People who not only are talented, but they have talents on so many different levels that it just doesn't, you don't see it that often. This next artist, I always have a soft spot for because I know her origin story, in Baltimore with Moonworks and coming up as a baby. She was one of our first winners for, I think American Idol's first started. She was our first winner at 17. And, so back then, but she was raised with, all the tools around her. So she could take some jazz from over here. She could take some consciousness from over here. She could take some dance from over here. So she definitely was raised in a womb of talent, and she's grown to be this amazing superstar of a woman, of a human. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, my sister, or my daughter, she's Mumu Fresh. Maimuna Youssef joins the show. Maimuna, what's going on, homie?
Hi. Good morning. How are you, Mark?
There she is.
Hey,
Doing?
the amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Bootsy, it sounds like you. Bootsy, turn your mic off and turn it back on again. For some reason, it seems like you're clipping a little bit. Can you turn your mic off and turn it back on?
Sure.
So Maimuna,
Yes.
What's finally look.
Finally,
Maimuna has been traveling the world, but Maimuna always makes time for me. I appreciate you, Maimuna. When I'm famous, I want to remember this.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Mark. We go way, way, way back. You were the first person to ever put me on the radio. Okay, and gave me an open pass to come to the radio whenever I want. The first person to ever play my music on the radio. So, I owe it to you forever and ever.
And so, Maimuna, we're going to, for those who haven't witnessed the amazement that you are, we're going to give them a little bit for those who don't know. But one thing, Maimuna, you can think about, I come to you after we see some of your great talents, is, and Bootsy and I understand this. Me and Bootsy in some ways are similar, not all the way. But Maimuna, we talked off the air. But anyway, you, so many years, people, she's the next Lauryn Hill, blah, 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 right? Yeah. And then you look around and you see people, who quote unquote are getting more spins, more airplay, more attention. And the reality is they don't even know what a chord progression is. You know what I mean? But again, nothing against them. It's not their fault. Right. It's like, there's a certain feeling that has to happen and a certain acceptance that has to happen when you're a super talented artist that maybe hasn't been given the platform that you deserve. But before so think about that, Maimuna, and we'll come back. And for those who don't know Maimuna, let me give you some of her tearing it down at different locations. So one of my favorites was Bootsy, 5 Fingers of Death on, she's on, the show all the time. But, what's my man's name?
In the morning.
What's my man's name?
Sway, you talking about Sway in the morning?
Sway. Damn you, 55. Sway in the morning. 5 Fingers of Death. Here's Mumu Fresh off the dome. A little something, something.
Social smog polluting us all, choking on the smoke in the comment bar where everybody got balls but can't nobody spell. Trying to read your insults, confusing as hell. I'm like, how you gonna buck when your hammer is stuck? Like how you gonna joan when your grammar is fucked? Girls trade they pride for apple pie. Expose your whole backside, only got 10 likes. Now ain't that about embarrassing? Shoulda got your marathon. Listen to your parents when they told you go to school, but you might just only end up in the morgue. School's more dangerous than the Civil War. Kids marching for their lives, politicians recognize. Even Delta Airlines cut the bullshit. But the power still resides in the almighty dollar. And Orange 45 scared to do shit. He too caught up in the rah-rah, paying off porn stars, life and time of the rich and famous. But the country's on his head and the youth the only answer. Anybody playing dead code and nameless.
Come on, Mumu Fresh. Going out here.
Man, I heard that a long time.
And Bootsy, I gave you some of this. Now, this right here, I was walking Mumu Fresh. You saw me on Instagram. I hadn't heard this one in a while. I heard this one. I was like, oh my God. First, this is a whole movie. Here we go.
Keep on walking with your head held high. Keep on talking like you heard it from the sky. We ain't gonna let them bring us down. You know we come too far to give up now. Jimmy, did you talk to him about the money?
We talked about this. Now, remember?
About what? No, I remember. I said I want my money today. What did they say about it?
They said they don't have it. They said net 45.
Shit, they don't have it. Net 45 my ass. I'm gonna pull out my 45, Jimmy. They're fucking with me because they know they can. If I was a white woman, I'd been paid before I went on stage. If I was a white man, I'd been paid 2 fucking weeks ago. Jimmy, I want my fucking money, Jimmy.
If you keep it down, maybe you could get it sooner.
Fuck you, Jimmy. You got one fucking job, Jimmy. Give me my fucking money. I'm not playing with them, fucking around with them. God damn it. No matter how hard I work, it never matters.
Look, Joe, is there any way we can get Miss Fresh her money today? Over my dead body, Jimmy. Hell no.
That'd be 10 times better just to be treated as half as good.
the best act they've had on this show. The best act. Still, I get paid the least.
And you tell her and her crew members, read up on those contracts, if they can read. She is goddamn lucky she's getting any exposure at all today.
Be grateful. Put your head down. Stay humble. They don't know about me. They got the wrong motherfucker.
You got me? Yeah. I don't have time for this diva shit. All right, everybody, 30 seconds. Let's go. Come on. Time is money.
Wrong one. Operator?
This is she. How can I help you?
Get me Big Reggie.
Yes, hold on.
Hello.
Hey, babe.
Hey, you all right?
We got a problem.
What?
Yeah. These motherfuckers trying to short us.
Hold on. What?
You know where I'm at.
Well, I'm on my way up there right to hell now.
And ladies and gentlemen, your host of Vintage Soul.
Right on. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Vintage Soul. I am the host with the most, Rufus the Genius Robinson III, and that's the word. I have the pleasure, the honor to bring to you the fox of all foxes, the diva of divas, the golden voice of choice, the vintage lady herself. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mumu Fresh and the Freshettes.
Thank you.
Rapping for the readers, skanking in the leaders from Rodeo to the Alameda. I'm your favorite teacher's favorite teacher. Smarter than your average Yogi Bear, follow the leader. Fancy like smoke paprika. Truffle butter from the gutter, glad to meet ya. I'm that juju that'll free ya. Innovative, ultra creative, entrepreneur. I can lead you to the river. Give you something man a tongue I can't deliver. Ooh, cause I feel like heaven. Tickle your mental and make the blood leaven. Boy, I'm lucky number 7. I'm the golden goose and that's why you won't be pregnant. Sweet like a llama in pajamas with an attitude. But on my mama, I ain't mad at you. I'm too busy eating busy like a rabbit do. Coming through your city, taking hands like a cannibal. What the grandma do? It's absurd. I flip verbs tangible. Flow so flammable. I ain't come to play with y'all. I came to take it all. You won't be sorry that I came. Even more sorry when I'm gone. You know what it is. I get back to the money. Ain't no my biz. I get back to the money. Give me a kiss. I get back to the money. Back to the money. Back to the money. I make love and then I get back to the money. Take dubs and then we get back to the money. Shake the club, leave with a bag full of money. Bag full of money. Bag full of money. Getting back to the money. I leveled up, niggas think I'm acting funny. Nah, just a little grown for the okey doke. If I ain't sorta rich, then I'm sorta broke.
Once again, boy, Mumu Fresh. First of all, truffle butter from the gutter. She got 1 million of them. So Bootsy, I see you quiet, Bootsy, and that's rare for Bootsy to be quiet. So before we move to Mumu, Bootsy, what are your thoughts on why you so quiet?
Well, first of all, I have to be honest. I have been a long time fan, and I have been fascinated by you for a while now. And it's interesting because, you know, DMV is pretty small. You are so incredible. Everybody in every region claims you and take credit for your success. So you got people in DC thinking from DC because you went to Duke Ellington. You got people thinking from Baltimore. Everybody loves and claims you. But I would say this: everybody loves you no matter what geographical area that we we're claiming. They all appreciate and respect you immensely for your talent. So I guess my question would be, just so we clear, so everybody can know. Now I know I could be putting you on the spot, but can you let everybody know exactly where you're from and what your journey is? Because everybody's claiming you.
Yeah, I know people always think I'm from Philly because I got my first deal there, and I toured with the Roots and a lot of the artists I worked with in the beginning were Philly-based artists. But no, I was born in Baltimore. I did move to DC when I was a 9th grader to go to Duke Ellington, and I would say, I mean,
So that's why you came. Hold on, let me. So you just came up here to go to Duke Ellington. Be honest. Statute of limitations. Be honest.
I did come here to yes, but then
Okay.
I stayed and when I moved to other cities, I always kept coming back to DC. I moved back to DC now. Like I always end up coming back to DC. So I would say, I mean, DMV is a good, and I lived in Virginia for a long time as well. So I've truly lived in the DMV, you know.
No judgment on this end. No judgment on this end.
All right.
No
I know
judgment.
it is. Yeah, people always they do argue about that.
Oh no, because I've heard a full-fledged argument. I heard the argument. Well, they was like, she is from DC, but it also just shows the testament to how much people love you, how much people want to claim you, but also how much you've gotten from all of these places. Because Be clear about this. You know, Mark has been traveling, done. I have too. You cannot. Some people got to be born with it and just inquire it. So I can tell that you were a melting pot. If you could possibly tell us, what have you learned from each geographical area? Because I see bits and pieces from everywhere from you. In you.
Man, so much. But even before I started traveling, I have to give credit to my mother, who is a very multifaceted, you know, multicultural individual. Who even before I physically traveled with my two legs, you know, I was homeschooled by her. And so she taught me about the whole world. And my stepfather's Ethiopian, so I spent a lot of time in his family. So, you know, when I go to the Ethiopian spots, like, you know, like, you know, they think I'm Ethiopian. I spent time in Nigeria. They'll tell you that I'm Hausa, you know. And I grew up with a lot of Nigerians. My mom at one point was initiated into Ifa. And so I grew up in a Yoruba temple. My grandmother, who is Choctaw, she's Native American, was very close friends with a woman from Trinidad named Mother Taylor, who was very well respected within the Ifa community. And so I had all of those experiences. And at one point, my mother being, you know, water pourer for the Sweat Lodge and a very spiritual woman, you know, I would travel with them to gathering of elders. So elders from indigenous communities all over the world would get together and talk about how to bring world peace. And so I grew up going to those events my whole life with my mother.
It makes it. It makes sense. Let me ask you a question. So did you listen to Kente Fela Kente growing up?
Fela Kuti, yes, absolutely. I recorded with his son.
I know his son. His son is amazing.
Yeah, Femi. I recorded with Femi in Lagos.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And so Mumu, you know, we talked about off the air. We talked about some things, and I thought about what we talked about off the air from a standpoint of, and I know you never bring up we talk about off the air. I'm just saying from a standpoint of having all this talent and having so many expectations as a young person, because you got on young, and then you talked about some of the frustrations. But then I thought about it, Mumu. I was thinking about how what a Lauryn Hill went through and what some of the artists have gone through. The irony is, you thought you wanted that, but the irony is seeing what they went through. No. I think I much prefer your outcome. Talk to us about that initial question. When you do have all this talent and you're around so many talented people and you see the kind of, again, the exposure that they get, and you know maybe don't get it. How did it feel as a young person, and then how does it feel now? Because all this stuff that I played for you and shown you guys, this is Mumu Fresh. This is hers. She created it. She owns it. She owns it. You know, I want to hear the remix with Mystical on that Back to the Money. But anyway, tell us about that. The young Mumu Fresh who desired fame and fortune, and the now young Mumu Fresh who looks at it differently.
Well, I think all young people, we all go through the learning curves that turn us into adults. I think when we have to go through them publicly, that causes its own type of trauma and makes it more difficult to grow and to recover. You know, people don't often let you forget your mistakes, you know. As celebrities, they don't let celebrities grow in the way that every other person has to grow. You make mistakes, you fall down, you get back up, you become a new person, you reinvent yourself. And it's harder for celebrities to do that. And I was saying that, you know, when I was a 17-year-old, you know, and I was a very hard worker. I was, you know, I won the Baltimore Idol. So we recorded an album, like things started progressing really quickly. And I felt like that's what I wanted. I wanted what all of my, you know, the legends before me, I wanted to take the path that they took. but it became increasingly apparent to me that I wasn't, that wasn't the path that was for me. And it wasn't a path that, that I was meant to take. I was supposed to take a different path. And the spiritual lessons that I would learn along the way are ones I had to learn in private, not in public. And so I'm grateful that, God set it up for me in my life, that I was able to make all my young mistakes in private, and be able to grow from them and decide what parts I wanted to be public and which parts I didn't. And I was able to raise my child in the way that I wanted to raise him, and homeschool him, and, just have a very fruitful, diverse, just really beautiful life that I was able to create for him, because I could choose. Everything didn't have to be in public. So, I think most young people don't know what we're asking for when we ask for celebrity really young. We don't know what that really means. And most young people don't have the mental stability to be able to withstand that kind of onslaught of public pressure, peer pressure, criticism. You're already dealing with your own self-doubt, as every young person, or even older people are dealing with. You're dealing with your own insecurities. You're dealing with your own childhood trauma, whatever you're dealing with as a human being, right? You're dealing with that, and to have to deal with the onslaught of scrutiny as well. It's normally too much for most human beings to deal with, which is why you see so many people self-medicating and checking out, because this is not a natural, this is not a natural or normal way to live.
So I was when I was listening to, what I love about, again, you as an artist is, of course, the talent's there, the sound and all that, but then you are saying something. You are saying something. Now, right now, radio is playing this song. Woo! You told me you weren't really trying to go for it, but
I know
they're playing it. And I want to give people some of this. Is the lyric video, but Bootsy, what I love is, in addition to the song, what it's saying. The song made me think about my mother, who was longing to have what this song says. It made me think about my wife, so much so that I said and reminded the world when we started Mumu that my wife has allowed me to live like a king. But that's when you're saying something and you got great music. Oh, it's a deadly combination. This is Soft Again. It's playing in cities across the country right now on the radio. Here's a little bit of it from Mumu Fresh.
A boss, bitch. I'm a boss, bitch. Hope you get the pun in it. Yeah, I'm running shit. Keep a hard exterior, cause y'all be trying to play a chick. I don't do bum shit, work hard and have fun shit, but that's about the sum of it. When I go home, I wanna take the cape off. I wanna feel soft. You're my place of refuge, I need to refuel. You're my safe space, you erase the stress of the day. I lay my guard down, you can kiss the pain away. I'm soft as baby hairs, soft as cashmere. I turn into cotton up when you tell me to come here. You see me so clear, your love is so sincere. I don't have to be the main, always on the main. You're someone who'll understand the woman I am. I'm soft again. With you I'm in the lane. Oh, you are my medicine. You love me better than anyone can. I'm soft again. Soft again. I'm giving in. Your language I'm listening. Your love is displayed by your actions. My changes reflect what you're giving. Connections deeper than a mattress. And now my experience is an incident to something in my And you're a blessing just to be around. And you bring all my different seasons. I don't have to be the man. You're someone who'll understand the woman I am. I'm soft again. With you I'm in the haze. You are my medicine. You love me better than anyone can. I'm soft again. You bring me back to center. Heal me when I'm injured. Love me through my hang-ups. Here without a measure.
Woo! Mumu Fresh, girl.
Okay, hold on. Shout out to my guy, Ralph Johnson from Earth, Wind, and Fire, because Song Cry is his original song that nobody knows. That is actually his song. So shout out to my guy, Ralph Johnson from Earth, Wind, and Fire, because that track is so sentimental. But out of all the people that I've heard use that track, you have really made it make sense to me as well.
A sample?
Yeah, so the Song Cry is from Ralph Johnson.
I gotta ask Vidal.
Yeah,
Vidal Harris and Andre, I'm sorry, Vidal Davis and Andre Harris produced that. Yeah.
Yes. So what happened was he recorded that for 3 people. The Whispers got a version of that as well. Okay. So he had told me that he had recorded it as a demo for a lady in like early 70s, even before Earth, Wind, and Fire had even exploded, because he was just doing production. And he just said one day he got a phone call that he told me, he said, I don't even know how they found this sample. I don't even know how they found this song, because I had totally forgot about it. He told me that song right there has made him more money than he ever made in his whole career in Earth, Wind, and Fire. And it's crazy because Big Sean has just used this. Big Sean and Queen Naja, that is their new single as well.
But they ain't got no Mumu Fresh on it.
They ain't got no Mumu Fresh on it.
And so what I love about it, Mumu, is again, I think it's really like your person. Like it starts, you start off, hard ass,
talking trash,
right? But then you want to be soft again. And I think about my mother, because my mother, who was a single person, and my mother, who was a hard ass, there's kind of a narrative now that people be like, a strong black woman, we don't need no man. My mom be like, hey, hold up. I ain't trying to do this by myself. I have to do it by myself. I do not want to do it by myself. Yeah. So my mom never bought into all that thing about being a superwoman and all that kind of stuff. Right. No, you had to survive to do that. But she would have loved to find somebody that allowed her to be soft again. And so, and I thought about also, we talked about this, Mumu Fresh. First of all, you're beautiful, you're talented, you bad. And but you were saying that a lot of times guys are intimidated by that. And what I thought about Mumu was, here's the part that's messed up about what sisters have to go through. Women, let's say women, but sisters especially, right? At the end of the day, if in relationships men are intimidated by women who are strong, that has to show itself in other aspects of life. I thought about that this morning. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think about, like, even on the radio, when you hear these women artists that make it, like especially now, it's it's interesting formula. They don't even have a chord progression. It's a soft. It's kind of like a aura thing, and then you just stamp, put any pretty face on with some kind of outfit on, and then they're the thing that's pushed. There's not a lot of substance pushed, and then you're like, well, why is this? Is it because the guys that make the decision? It's the same loop. It's like a same loop. I mean, you have the exceptions, but especially now, not that many. The good news is a lot of artists like yourself, you guys have your fans now. You can make it without depending on radio or depending on whoever. You got your fans. You can get to your fans on social media. You can get to your fans. You can do concerts. And what I love about even this song, what's happening right now, is normally artists are begging radio to play it. You're like, hey, if you play it, great. If not, that's good. I got some other stuff going on. And I remember when Maxwell did that, when he went on tour first and didn't go to radio first. And so radio then had to play him because people were requesting it after he went on tour. Wow. I said, that was brilliant. And you kind of do that already. So when did you get to that conclusion? How did you get to that conclusion? And then how did you realize that, making money yourself, because a lot of people who have bigger names have not figured out what you figured out, and that is how to make money with your talent. How did you get to that point?
I think just asking questions, reaching out to counsel from other artists, independent artists that I feel like are successful, figuring out what the formula is, being persistent and consistent, praying without ceasing, trying things and really just working hard. I think, some artists feel like everything should be given to them. And I don't feel like anybody owes me anything, and I don't take anything for granted. I eat what I kill, and I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm a hustler. I was raised by hustlers, and I don't have no problem hustling. Like, You know, my grandfather, I remember asking him about like the Great Depression. And he was like, oh, I don't know. I was still making money. I was like, how? He said, the only way I'm not gonna make money is because money don't exist no more.
Woo! Wait a minute. That's a bar right there.
If it exists, I'm gonna get some. And you know what I mean? So like I remember, you know, talking to my grandfather about those kinds of things. He was a bootlegger, you know, he bootlegged liquor, he was a number runner, he owned a nightclub, like, you know, he worked on the railroad as a chef. And he, whatever prime ribs they was getting, he was gonna take half of it home to his family. Okay, so y'all eating prime ribs? We all eating prime ribs then, okay? You know, taking butter, like, you know what I mean? Like butter was like a hard thing to get real butter. And that's just, you know, that's how they moved. It was kind of like, I'm gonna get some. You're not out here eating without me, bro. And so I think I probably adopted a lot of that, even before I knew my very first time, like figuring out how to sell a record, first of all, how to make a record. You know, I went down to Club Intellects in Baltimore. I went down to Organic Soul Tuesdays. I think Organic Soul was an Intellects at first, and they moved to a couple different places, but too young to even get into the club, you know. And I went in there, I met James Collins from Fertile Ground, I met Raheem Devon, and they were people who I knew were making records and they were doing shows and making money. So I said, hey, look, I need you to mentor me. Show me what you're doing so I can do it. And you know, I was working with a nonprofit, a womb work, and we wrote some grants to get some funding to record this album. I had a band at Dunbar Jazz Band in Baltimore. All my musicians were from that band. So I would leave DC, take the MARC train over, go to Dunbar Jazz Band. And then we started recording right on North Avenue, North and Bentlow. And we recorded this project through, you know, I went down to the radio station. Somebody told my stepmother said, the radio station's having this competition, a Baltimore Idol. Go down there and see if you can win. And I was like, all right. So, you know, I just took the bus downtown and, you know, came and sang and I won. And, you know, I was able to promote this album that we were working on the radio station, went out to LA, like all these things. But I was calculating this stuff. I was writing it on my wall. I still, to this day, I have big Post-it sheets on my wall where I write. Yeah, basically. Yep. Basically, like, this is what I'm accomplished. Before I even did the Tiny Desk, before I knew anybody at the Tiny Desk, like November 2017, I wrote on my wall, I'm going to perform on the Tiny Desk. I didn't know anybody there. February, I got the call to perform on the Tiny Desk to do one rap verse. It went viral. I got the call to do my own show that June on the Tiny Desk. I wrote on my wall, I want to perform on Black Girls Rock. I knew Bev, but we had never, you know, it didn't work out where I performed in there. That next year, I was performing on Black Girls Rock Awards show. Since then, I've done it like 5 times, you know? And so that's what I don't know if I thought about it like that. I just knew that I graduated high school, straight A student, but I wasn't in a position where I could go to college, you know, and my family was going through a lot of stuff at the time. And so I just had to be independent. I had to be grown. I had to figure out what I was going to do next. And, you know, my grandmother said, ask a lamppost when you need help. So I just started asking, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I would keep a journal. I found a journal recently that from back then. I was like, dang, I had the same mind. I'm writing down, call this person, call that person, go by the radio station, go, you know. Then when I figured out how to print the CDs, James Collins showed me how to print the CDs. I printed up merch. I did that. I designed the album cover. I didn't know how to design nothing, but my uncle, who had a print shop, you know him from The Wire, he had a print shop, and I went there, asked him to teach me how to do graphics. I mixed the paint. I rolled the paint on the t-shirts, and I took all the shirts down to Soundgarden for consignment. The CDs down
the Serious B shirts.
Yes, yep.
Wow. I still have that Serious B shirt.
I got on the bus. I wasn't even 18 yet. I got on the bus from New York down to Atlanta, stopping at every record shop, taking CDs and t-shirts to put on consignment. You know what I mean? And because that's what they told me to do. So I'm that kind of mind. I'm not waiting on nobody to do nothing for me. I'm gonna show me how to work it. You know what I mean? Show me how it works and I'm gonna work it. You know what I mean? And that's just, I've been that same way forever. I don't understand. And people criticize that, like, you're so independent. You want to do everything yourself. I don't want to do it myself, but what I'm not going to do is wait on you to disappoint me. I'm not going to do that. So, you know.
Let me ask you this question, Mumu. Now we're in 2022 right now. Yeah. And from the outside looking at it, it seems like there is a shift in hip hop in general to allow more females. What do you think? What do you think the climate is in 2022, just for female MCs in general? Because for the first time ever, it does feel like it's female dominated now. Like what are your thoughts of the landscape of female MCs, rappers, and singers, and per se?
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. I mean, for years I did more because I'm a singer. You know, I feel like I've been able to survive because for a long time people didn't want to hear a girl rap. You know, I started rapping on the stoop with my brother. You know, and but people didn't want to hear a girl rap. They prefer to hear you sing or do anything else. You know. And there is definitely more space. There's more space for female music, female rappers, and where men will listen to female rappers. It used to be men would not listen to female rappers, period. They felt like we shouldn't even be in that space. So I'm happy that there is more space that exists. We can get booked for more. You know, there's more. There's just an openness about, and not just in hip hop in general, across the board, across genres, across fields. There's more space open for women. It's like an affirmative action movement right now for women to have a place in a position. So I'm happy to see that. I think what I would love to see, I still would love to see more of a diversity of voices. We are not a monolith. I would love to see the diversity of our experiences. You know, when I listen to, you know, playlists of all female rappers, it's normally still pretty gratuitous. It's pretty gratuitous and it's pretty anti-man and
strip clubbish.
Yeah, basically. And I mean,
twerkish.
But it's not. And people will say, "Well, men do it all the time," right? But that, you know, that doesn't make it better. We don't help the situation by also being toxic towards men. When men are toxic towards us, we don't help. You know what I mean? Like, like you don't learn from your oppressor. You know what I'm saying? Not to say all men are oppressors, but this is. You don't learn, like you don't let them be your teacher. If they're already doing the wrong thing, that's not who you learn from. You don't copy that behavior. You know, I would love to see more voices that are really looking to reclaim some balance, you know, amongst us as a community, because you don't get healthy community from men and women hating each other, right? Jay-Z said nobody wins when the family feuds, and that's real, and that's, you know, it just creates more toxicity. So I would just love to see you know, I heard a song recently, and basically the song was about, I guess the guy mistreated the girl, but instead of her leaving, she just wants to get back with him so she can abuse him as well and treat him terrible. And I was like, all right. But
yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I ain't gonna say it.
You know, like
you do.
And it's huge. But at what point do we like, okay, so, and then when do we grow up? And then when do we address our hurt feelings and our broken childhood and our our broken relationships with our parents? And stop making other people pay for that. Like at what point?
Speak on it, because it seemed like that's about to be a trend or a marketing plan.
It is
because with that album who you're talking about, it seems like everybody's following that scissor playbook. Oh, I said her name. Playbook right now, whatever. Now the other thing that I'm fascinated about you, because we have, I don't know how we've never really met and sat down, but do you consider yourself an MC or a singer, or what is it? Do you consider yourself, and what do you prefer to do the most?
Yeah, I'm definitely both. I'm an MC, I'm a singer, I'm an artist. You know what I mean? I'm a musician. Like I'm an arranger, I'm an engineer. Like you know, I'm a creative being. And it really just depends on what message I'm trying to communicate, and I utilize whatever tool is necessary to get that point across.
Right.
You know, but I do think that there's to me, there's still an overarching agenda to disempower women, because you don't get your power back by putting yourself back in a toxic situation to try and be more toxic. You know what I mean? Like, you can't fight fire with fire. And with women, we're water. So just be water. Be water.
Right.
Water is powerful too. It ain't fire, but it's water.
Right.
And I think when we come into the real realization of our true power, I hear people talking about the divine feminine, but I don't think they know what it means yet. And when we really come into an understanding of what that really means, you're going to see the whole community grow. You're going to see the men raised. You're going to see the women raised. The vibration of the whole planet going to raise. The children going to be better. But until then, we don't know, when we are talking about women empowerment, we don't know ourselves well enough. We don't know ourselves. We haven't done the internal work necessary to even to talk about women empowerment. We don't know yet. We got to deal with the broken pieces, and that's what's not happening. We calling reactionary, anger-based triggered responses. We calling that women empowerment, or we calling over sexualization. We calling that women empowerment. We haven't done the internal work, and those in charge of selling it are creating a lane that mutes other voices that are dealing with more balance. And it's no different than what they've always done. And that's fine. What the internet does is create options for consumers. And so that's the beautiful thing about it, is that there are options for consumers, and you can seek those artists that are promoting, wellness and balance, and just a diversity of perspective, that so that's all I would love to see a little bit more, which is why I do so many workshops. I do so much mentorship, because I would love to see, my fellow female MCs just operating in a more holistic space. I would love to see the men too, but I'm not a man, so I can't lead men.
I do. I want to see that as well.
Well, the interesting thing, Mumu, what you said, and I think what I love about, and I think it's important because you are an artist and you are a talented artist in the genre. You can say it, you can have the conversation, you can start the conversation, and because you have skin in the game and your talent, you can be heard. People listen. Like for me, I obviously see what's going on as a 55-year-old father who's been in the media forever. Rap music is basically turned into negative propaganda that they use to send people to prison. And if I say that, I sound like somebody's daddy. But what I'm saying is exactly what you said. The other day, I never forget it. That one song that's super popular, and the guy, one of the lines he keeps repeating is, you got a new ass, a new whatever, new tits, a new ass, now you're a 10. New tits, a new ass, now you're a 10. New tits, a new ass, now you're a 10. So now you're bombarding these young minds with, get the plastic surgery so you can become a 10. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was just like, that hit me because, again, I have daughters. I'm the only male in my household. And I just thought about those poor kids who have nobody around them to regulate messaging. And they're just hearing this
poor adults. What about the poor grown women?
Poor adults, right, who want to be flued out. But
and who are dying on these tables. That's what they're not talking about.
Exactly. And so
I watched a special about that,
So when I say it though, I sound like an old guy talking about it. But when you have, but also I love Mumu, is that what you're doing with is more powerful is not coming at the people, because that's what they want now. That's clickbait. You're going to colleges and you're teaching. I think that's the power right there. When you say, instead of saying, okay, I don't know if I believe WAP is a feminist anthem, instead of not even getting in that conversation, you're going to colleges and talking about real stuff.
Yeah.
It's so more powerful, because then people aren't putting you in their sights and saying, oh, Mumu Fresh is just a hater. It's like, no, I'm coming here. So tell us about what you're telling the kids in college, what you're teaching in college.
Because it's not that I think that those things shouldn't exist. It's not that I don't think they should exist. I just think that other things should also be given space to exist, and they're not. And that's what we need to wonder why. It's not that it shouldn't exist. It's why are other perspectives also not able to also be in that space. And also, I feel like it's better to be an example than to be a criticizer of whatever that thing is, because you can say, don't do this, but if you don't show them, well, what is my other option? What can I do? Then you're not really saying anything. And what can I do and make money? Because you can tell people, don't do this, but if they know that's the only way they're going to make money, they're going to do it anyway. But if you can create other economic avenues and say, hey, look, you can also do it this way. You could also still make money and live the life that you want to make. You have to create examples and outlets. And so that's more so what I'm trying to do with what I'm doing with my educational platform, University Studies. And I've been to NYU and to Berkeley and to Drexel, Puget Sounds out on the West Coast. And so I'm talking to their music department students about what is the next level of sound frequency that we are creating. We know that sound moves matter. So how are we moving people? We have to be responsible for the sounds that we are creating, because they're powerful. It's not just entertainment. It's so much deeper than that, and it's so much bigger than that. And so just helping artists to feel some amount of responsibility for what you put out into the atmosphere. And just showing them what the options are. How do you do it independently? And if you want to go the label route, how do you sit at the negotiating table and be able to negotiate creative control? How do you put together, a plan that really allows you to be yourself? Like, I can't even imagine how trapped one must feel having to be an image, having to portray something that's not honest and authentic for them in order to survive. And I think we don't look at artists like that. We don't, people think that artists are just always doing what they want to do. But it is self-perpetuating. Some of the trends of the industry are self-perpetuating. At one point, they were forced upon you, and now it's become such a self-perpetuating trend, and that other women will tell you that you have to do this, and you want to do it, and at some point you feel like this is my choice. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, I just finished working on a film about sex work, and it was a lot of discrepancy about if the women wanted to do it or not. Ooh. If it was their choice or not. Some felt like it was, some felt like it wasn't. It was very hard for them. Even the ones that didn't want to do it, it was very hard for them to get out of that game and how to, because it's an industry. And there is some amount of attention that you enjoy, some amount of, at some point you might feel like you're loved or valued, even when you're not being, totally, it gets very confusing for the psyche. It's no different for artists. It's no different for artists. When you're celebrated for something, you start to feel like, well, maybe I do like how that feels. That's normal. Every infant, when you're a baby, you love attention, right?
Right.
When you're celebrated for something, whatever it is, you're going to do more of it because that feels good to be celebrated. So I just think it's just, something deeper that we don't often really examine. So that's all I'm thinking. It's not an indictment on anyone. You should be able to do whatever you want to do. I think we should examine why we want to do the things we think we want to do and who's really pulling the strings. I think we don't examine those things, how programmable the mind is.
It's so interesting. I was thinking, as a fan of music, the thing that you give me, Mumu, is like, I don't know. It's actually not it's not the chorus. Like, Back to the Money. When you sing, is that considered the chorus? No.
Yeah, it's like a pre-chorus.
A pre-chorus.
I ain't come to play with y'all. I came to take it all. You gonna be sorry that I came. Even more sorry when I'm gone.
And then boom, back to
know what it is. I get back to the money.
So I know. So as a 55-year-old who, again, we come from a people. And you guys are younger than me, but you came from the same background where when we were immersed, we listened to all different types of music, and it's a part of us, right?
Yeah.
And so you had that thing, Mumu, that D'Angelo, something about what D'Angelo does. Raheem does it too. Probably takes me back all the way to church. Old black traditional church, right? Yeah. Those chords, that sound, and the same thing when I hear it with you. And so the sad part to me is that used to be how every black person kind of was. Big Mama on Sunday or Saturday played you clean the house, all these musical things in the back of your mind, those influences from jazz. I think sadly there's a generation that don't have that, right? They got the 808, they don't have it. It's and a part of me is just like, I feel sad because I'm like, damn, like, when we die, is it over? I mean, because you kind of encapsulate, Mumu, I think, all that, and that's why you resonate so strongly. But also, you're a young person who grew up covered in hip hop, so you have that same version of hip hop from KRS-One to Jay-Z, And so, what's the future look like for you, Mumu, and you, Bootsy? Tell me your thoughts on that, because that's the part that concerns me, because that thing that it satisfies is like
that feel.
It's almost like a damn drug thing. When you hear it, it's addictive. When you just sing it, it just it feels so special.
It moves you.
And so, what's going to happen, guys, in the future? How do we keep it going? Is it just different? What's your take on that?
I don't think it's dead. I don't think it's dead. I mean, and the fact that it's recorded means it still exists. And I think everything happens. Life happens in cycles. Things are going to come back. They always going to come back, and they come in different ways. And I always, encourage young people to look at the full lineage of, this musical legacy and lineage that you've been given. Like, Black music in America has such a rich history, and you have access to it. You know what I mean? Like, you can find out who your favorite singer's favorite singer is and their favorite singer, and go back and find that lineage, and you can learn, study from them. And that's how you become great. You got to study the greats. But I don't think it's gone. I think it's always opportunity to come back. And I think there's a lot of effort being put on an educational level now with music programs in schools. They realize that that's missing, and that they're trying to bring those things back and trying to get more artists, young people to be musicians and to seek those sounds, because those sounds they're timeless sounds. They're never going to get old. They're timeless sounds. You only got so many options of scales and chords, I think the music industry, which is separate from music, that entity has, done a great deal to sanitize and our
Minimize.
music. Yeah. And I mean, even going back further than that, like the Puritan church used to ban certain chords, like those blues chords, gospel, that seven chord.
Not the seven, Mumu.
Yes, they did.
Lucky number 7.
And so I think since time, we know that sound moves things, and some people are afraid of that and they want to control that. And so they start to remove it from the people's, normal existence. But we still have access to it and we can claim it. And people are waking up. I just went to this program the other day, just like a regular program in the hood. And they had these babies in here meditating to, with crystal bowls and things like that. I didn't used to see that when I was a kid. Like I was into it because my mom was into it, but you ain't randomly see that in the hood, people having crystal bowls. And so there is an awakening that's happening on the planet where people are starting to get hip to and understanding sound frequency and the power of sound frequency and the power of your words and deciding what we want to intake, what we want to ingest. And some of that music that's very toxic, people are deciding against it, but you're always going to have people got a choice, right? So you're always going to have people that choose that. And, but I do feel hopeful about the future because there is an awakening that's happening on the planet. Not everybody going to make it, but there is an awakening that is happening. And I do feel very hopeful about that. When I work with young people, I'm loving the conversations that we have in. Like, I'm like, oh, word, you on that? You know about that? Like, it's because in the internet, you can just learn about anything that you want to, So when I'm bringing tuning forks and I'm talking about singing to their organs and healing all of their chakras, breaking up any stagnant energy that's in your, especially your sexual chakra. The young kids is really dealing with that. And in your throat chakra, your communication chakra. Like, I'm talking to these, 15-year-olds about it, and they with me. They like, damn, that's deep. That's dope, Miss Moo. That's crazy. I'm trying to get my frequency together too, And so I do feel very optimistic that my sons, they generation was a Generation Z, that they gonna back around. It's like full circle.
Okay, well, I feel so much better. So, Bootsy, you agree, Bootsy? I feel better now. I was concerned. I was like, oh well.
No, I 100%. I 100% agree with her. But also, I think that we should know is that people consume music differently now. There are different ways to consume and find your music, and with all these streaming platforms that sometimes we may think is not a good thing. It allows people to expand what they have access to. Mm-hmm. And, as a person who teaches broadcast journalism to teens and college students, you'll be surprised what they are, what their ears are attached to, what they're in tune to. So I think I definitely agree with her. And I just understand that now for music like that or whatever it is, you just got to know where to find it, where it's at. You just got to know how to research it and find it. And that's one thing I think that we talked about on the show before is the fact that people consume television, music, information differently than we did 10 years ago, probably 5 years ago. So I do think we're in a different space, and I think it's going to be in good hands because it is more access to consume it now. I knew who this lady was, and I had never heard on the radio, but I fully knew who Mumu Fresh was. Yeah. And it had nothing to do with no major media platform or radio station.
Well, Mamouna Youssef has a brand new spanking new video out.
And it's amazing.
Mumu, give us your rundown where people can see you coming up.
Can I ask a question? Hold on, can I please ask you one question?
Yeah.
Mumu, as a DC native, will you ever do a go-go song? Because producers who do go-go like me and people in bands, we've been loving your energy and vibe. Will we ever get a go-go song from you, Mumu?
Yes. I've been in communication with Black Alley. Really, we've been talking about this for like a couple of years. We really need to just make it happen. I've done Belladonna before.
What the interesting thing is, guess who Black Alley's first music director was?
Who's that?
A small guy named Bootsy Vegas. So hey, we already
named Bootsy Vegas.
Right. Yeah, but no, because your energy, everything that you convey in a live show got go-go vibes written all over him.
We be throwing an overnight scenario, and then we just had Queen P from the Beach of Feet King. She was featured in the last video.
Hey, congratulations to her beating cancer too. Shout out Queen.
Yeah.
She beat stage 4. Way to go, girl.
Yeah.
That's my homie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah.
Man, so Mumu, where are you gonna be? We're gonna play your latest video as we wrap it up. But where are you gonna be? How can we get you? Can we get to the class? I want to go to teach. I want to go to Professor Mumu.
Right. Yes. I have to plan some for this open to the public. All the ones right now are like private for institutions. But I will be at the Kennedy Center April 15th for I Am a Woman with myself, MC Light, Sierra Wack, Moni Love, Yo-Yo, who else? Trina, Rockstar.
Don't play with my yo-yo.
It's a gang of people that's going to be there. So that's going to be April 15th at the Kennedy Center. I think that's the most recent one. Like, I look at my calendar to see what else. Oh, like in terms of public appearance. And what's the other question you asked me?
And so we're gonna we got a brand new video. And again,
this
Mumu, your videos are fire.
Thank you.
Do you have a whole video team? How does this even work? Do you have the concept?
Yeah.
Do you have a team? Do you have a company? What goes on?
Yeah, this new video is with a new team with from Baltimore Bird's Eye View and 88 Cinema. My videos before last year for the Queen of Culture Project were all with a company called Mecca Filmworks. But yeah, I'm heavily involved in the creative process of all the music videos, the treatment. You know, I'm very opinionated, very creative. But it really helps when you're working with a really amazing team who are visionaries and got that vision and can help bring your vision out. This video is a little wild. I remember telling them, I was like, I got this idea. You know, I want to have this flashback moment. Initially, I wanted like to throw a smoke bomb into this building.
Okay,
and,
freedom fighter. Okay.
And we was gonna have I was gonna have like this military tactical outfit. And I was like gonna roll down this hallway and jump off this thing. But in my mind, I'm a little more agile than I am in reality. And so I got work on that more. So the first thing rolling down the hallway, I look back, we was laughing. I was like, yeah, nah, this ain't I'm had to get a stunt double. This roll was terrible. And I had a bun, so I was trying to roll like on the side of my head. Anyway. But the song is called In My Feelings. So we did an adjustment to the role. We did I got a military net. I tied the guy up in the neck. Wait, yeah.
Okay, Mark.
I know. Hold on, man. Hold on, Mumu. I'm trying to get. Okay, so you said you had to do what now?
I got this. And shout out to the curators of hip hop because they really helped bring this to life. Because I wasn't gonna do this song right now. I wasn't gonna put this song out right now. And he was like, "Moo, you gotta put this song out. This is a bang and this is a hit." Da da da. And I was like, I'm normally not petty in public. It's like, no, they need to see your petty side. I was like, all right. So, you know, we started shooting this video called In My Feelings, which was one of my favorite songs, but definitely not. But this whole, yeah, so you'll see how the video came together. But every time I can't even watch it without laughing. But eventually I want to do cinema. I do want to make movies.
You'll be good at it. You will be good at it from your videos.
Thank you. So this is my reel. I'm always like, look, I can act and I can direct. So that's what I want to eventually be able to do.
I actually almost did a spit take when I was watching this video the first time. I called Mumu after I watched it because I was outside on the deck and I was just checking it out. And then a little scene came up and I was like, I straight up almost did a spit take because she's funny. But again, back to the money though. That's a Tony Award winning performance in itself.
Thank you.
You said a lot. You said a lot about a lot in those quick seconds, and that's the power right there when you can say a lot about a lot and just like that, you know.
Yeah, I know that.
Your character, not you, Mumu, but that character. That character.
Loretta Divine.
You know what it felt like though? It felt like the hip hop Dream Girls. I felt like I was watching that a little bit, like. Ooh, this is I could not take my eyes off of it. I wanted to see where it was going to go. I wanted to see how it was going to play out. I loved it.
And and it's like trying to bring period pieces to life is so hard. Like we did another piece called North Star that staged in 1865. I mean, it is so difficult.
Slavery? Okay.
Yeah. Well, we were escaping, so little post-slavery.
Oh, okay.
But it was like I wanted to I was talking about like your internal guidance system. And I was using the analogy of when Africans would escape from slavery and they would use these quilts and there would be patchwork that wasn't a GPS. And when you got to a safe house, they would hang these quilts out and let you know where you were in that quilt, the process from the south to the north. And just about how brilliant you have to be to walk from Georgia to Canada and survive.
Yeah, but put their system together to even understand what it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just I just was so interested in that. And if I wasn't a rapper, I'd be an anthropologist. And so yes, I was really excited to kind of put that piece together. That was, I think, for me, and we won an award, music video award for that one. So yeah, I really enjoy doing this, and I want to give social commentary, but still keep it fun, keep it creative. And so that's what we did. Back to the Money was tough to pull off. And, you know, we got the other actors in last minute, and they were like, well, who do you normally act for? What agency do you belong to? I was like, I'm a singer. I'm not an actor. But
as we wrap it up, Mumu, have you ever, because I know since you were a kid, you heard it, have you ever met Lauryn Hill?
Yeah, I've opened for her several times.
And how was the energy?
Photo together. Where's my? I was upstairs.
How was the energy?
Good. It was chill. It was good. Yeah, it was nice. She was cool. I think the first time we met, I was probably doing too much. I was like, oh my God, I love you. You know, I'm like, okay.
She's like, calm down, child. Calm down.
Yeah.
Child, come on.
But I was maybe like 19, and it was at the Dave Chappelle block party, and I was backstage. I had really kind of like snuck in back there with Dead Prez. Well, really with Martin Luther. And then Dead Prez, their singer, didn't show up. And I was just waiting. I was praying on the opportunity. I said, Lord, I'm in here. Don't fail me now. You know, I spent my last little $20 getting on the bus to come to New York. I ain't got money to get home, and I don't care. I want to meet Lauryn Hill. And so I stayed there until she showed up, and I was able to, you know, talk to her.
Did she come late? Did she come late? No, I'm joking.
Okay, see.
Anyway, so then the next day when we did the block party, I was like, I performed with Dead Prez, and when I was leaving off stage, her and the Fugees was coming on. It was like their first time having a reunion, and I was like, and she was like, oh, I remember you from yesterday. I was like, oh my God, yes, I love you. She was like, okay, that's enough.
Calm down, child. Calm down. Calm down.
But then I would end up, she performed at Black Girls Rock, so I opened up for her there, and I opened up for her at Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Did she come early for that show? No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Bootsy, you gonna get your ass whipped.
No, don't do Lauryn like that. But no, it's been dope. Honestly, I have performed and worked with all my childhood heroes. Every rapper and artist that
except me. Except me. Well, go ahead.
And except Outkast. Outkast. But I worked with Nas and Common and, you know, Black Star, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, Dead Prez, KRS-One. I worked.
If we can never get another Black Star album. Okay, I'm sorry, Mark. I don't want to jump into that.
Well, Mumu, I know people watching this are laughing because every time you talk, I just smile as if you're my own. But I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Again, continued success, my friend. And we got you. So Mumu Fresh, everybody, make sure you follow her on social media, on YouTube. She's got great videos, and wherever she is, and whenever she's in town, again at the Kennedy Center, April 15th. That is actually our anniversary weekend, so I won't be on that show, but I will be following you wherever you're going to be next, Mumu. Thanks again.
Roots Picnic. I'll be performing at the Roots Picnic, June 4th and 5th in Philly.
And she's also humble. Hello, the Roots Picnic. That's a big deal, Mumu Fresh. Damn it. Okay, we're going to wrap it up with Mumu's latest video.
I love you, Mumu. I don't even know you, but I love you.
We're going to get that work. Going to get that track with
Let's get the cranking. Let's get the cranking out here in these streets.
There's some bounce beat.
If you're watching, watching in real time, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're watching at a later date, do the same. We'll see you tomorrow.
Your boyfriend, get that in your spirit. I tell myself time and again, but the petty me don't want to hear it. And the irony is, I told him don't get too attached. I'm pitching flights like they cozy in the wintertime, baby, don't trip where I'm at. And wherever I come back, you always there. And Never spoke about it, but I thought the understanding was clear. Was this? Goldilocks all up in the crib, sitting in my baby chair. Had to check my pulse when I seen that pulse. So you kissing and playing in her hair. I'm in my feelings, in my feelings. Thought I was chilling, but man, I'm in my feelings. I'm in my feelings, in my feelings. Thought I was chilling, but man, I'm in my feelings. Listen, see, I got this thing about loyalty. This much is true. If I break ties with somebody who done gonna done me dirty, then you gotta break ties with them too. You're my best friend. My beef is your beef, my cake is your cake. When I get it, we gon' both eat. Best friend, I did my loyalty. Don't go befriending my enemy. No, you can't hide by the look up in your eyes. I can feel it all in your energy. Don't lies in the same. Friends, I got plenty of them, but you were my sister, my top general. Hurt me deep down in my soul. Usually I don't let it show, but I'm in my feelings for